when you get to sort of my age anyway, you reflect back on the people that you've worked for. So I've never owned a business myself, but I've worked for lots and lots of entrepreneurs, and they've all got their key strengths, and some of them have got some weaknesses. And so when you spend enough time with people, you should really study what works for them and what hasn't worked. And then with that, you grow experience. And then when you join another company, you can say, well, actually, we're doing the same thing. We don't need to make the same mistakes. And I think with Ian, he revolutionised the industry. He started the first what I call super fabricator with Saturn. And in fact, one of the sales guys from Spectus that used to stay with us, a guy called Mike Smith from Washington, he was one of the first salesmen for Saturn Windows. Now that didn't succeed, but what did succeed was Speedframe, and what Ian introduced into the industry, which was visionary, which was 7-day windows. You order on a Tuesday at 12 o'clock, you get them the following Tuesday. Now, the industry hadn't a demand for that or a need for that. No one was asking for that, but he created that opportunity. And so, therefore, the whole industry had to change.
Well, it was interesting because at Cambrian Windows, that was the model that I had seen. So when I joined Cambrian Windows, nobody else was doing 5-7 day turnaround. Everybody was on 3 weeks with the exception of Speedframe. And I looked at what they were doing and I thought, you know what, if I can replicate that strategy, we're going to scale and we're going to grow. And we managed to do it. And we were able to do that because at that point at Cambrian, you know, the business was on the verge of closure. It had lost a massive, its biggest customer. So it had a lot of capacity, huge capacity, but no volume. So we were able to re-engineer the factory, totally reinvent it to allow us to do a 5-day or a 7-day turnaround, which effectively replicated what Speedframe were doing. And as a result of that, Cambrian then grew from 1 million to 12 million. I think it was in about 3.5 years. So it's phenomenal. But Ian's got to take the credit for that because he invented the concept originally.
And even some of the ideas that he had, I mean, some of the marketing ideas, it was very joined up. Not everything worked, and maybe that's down to some of the staffing decisions and whatever else. But he developed the first cavity closer and sold it to the John Carr Group.
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I was part of the team that brought that to market. So back in the day of Saturn Windows, he invented Press Lock, and eventually it became John Carr Press Lock. So I was the one going around all the Juicens builders merchants pitching it. And a really interesting story here. We won the contract for Juicens, and it was a huge opportunity. And Press Lock was put into lots of merchants, and we created a display. A unit went into the store, and I was running around the country doing all this type of stuff, and we didn't sell any. And what I realized that Ian had created this great product. I brought it to market. I put it into the merchants, but the customers didn't know what it was. So the builders were walking into the merchants and looking at this thing and not really understanding what it was. And then, so we thought, look, this strategy isn't working. So then we went to the merchants, to the branch managers and said, right, you need to get out and sell this. And they said, well, look, this is one of 10,000 SKUs. We've got a huge product range. Why would we be interested in selling that one? And that's when we started going direct to the builders.